Hello, my name is Cynthia and welcome to my Flosstube channel. If you love beautiful needlework, you like to talk about it, you like to see examples of it, and most importantly, if you hope to be inspired to create your own beautiful projects, you're in the right place. Welcome to my channel, Stitching in the Light. It's Thursday, October 15th, 2020, and it's a windy day here in Fort Worth, Texas. I welcome you to my channel if you're new, and if you're returning, welcome back. I wanted to visit with you sooner this month and update you almost on a weekly basis, but my health had other plans and I came down with a really nasty sinus infection. So I've been waiting for my voice to return to normal somewhat, and it's a lot better, but I think I would probably wait the whole month if I wanted it to be back to normal. So I apologize for my hoarse voice, and I hope that I can still be heard. I'm going to do the best I can. I wanted to first give you some updates on the great pumpkin sale that has been going on through the month of October, co-hosted with Christy from Crosshatch Quilts and Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. And we've had so much fun seeing all of the pumpkins that are being stitched, and just appreciate all of the shares of the sale and the fundraiser that's happening. And the outcome is just beyond my expectations. I'm so happy to report that as of yesterday, we'd raised $2,200, which far exceeded my original goal of $1,550. So the month is still not over, and the biggest prize is still to be revealed. Some of you may have heard of it if you've watched Marlene or Kathleen of Kathleen's Trodden Trail. She has mentioned it, but I'm waiting for the final picture to show that prize, and I am making up hundreds and hundreds of raffle tickets. So if you have any interest, it is not too late. Go to the video I'm going to link below for the Great Pumpkin Sale explanation of how to enter if you are in the US. Feel free to enter the raffle with a $5 entry and put your name in for some of these fabulous prizes. I had another one that had changed, so I'll be updating you on the next couple weeks about those. And I've enjoyed seeing all of the pumpkins that are being stitched, so thank you again for your support and encouragement. I also wanted to show you some of the crafts that I've been making. I did have one cross stitch finish that was almost complete last time I showed you, so it's not really a huge reveal, but the Matilda Hornbuckle piece from Not Forgotten Farm was actually, I think, started a sale from Lori Brecklin, the designer, and I had already hashtagged this Matilda Hornbuckle, so it's on there, but it was mostly complete except for this part of the shoe the last time I showed you, and I was able to finish it. I also initially made her eyes purple like the flowers, but they didn't show up, so I changed them back. The picture on Instagram doesn't show them completely finished. This is how I ended up. So I haven't had time to FFO this, but I told you I had a frame that looks almost exactly like that, and I think that's what I'm going to do because I have plans to do a fall hall in my back part of my house where my utility closet and all those things are, and I walk down that hall all day long. So I want it to be filled with all the fall things, and this would be fun as a little small kind of amidst the other things. And I'll show you another piece that's going to be a larger one here in a minute. I also wanted to show another finish. I finally got a project bag that was as near perfect as I'm able to get it. My other bags, I might show you one later. I usually have some kind of little goof on the side. You know, I'll miss a seam, or it'll be wrinkled and I'll have to glue it. And you know, I don't usually highlight those when I'm showing you, but this one turned out for the first time without any flaws like that. So it has a key like charm, jewelry charm from Hobby Lobby. It looks like it's kind of caught in there, but I thought it would be special for the winner, whoever draws this ticket or whoever wins this prize. And it's going to have a few things inside of it as well, maybe some charts and a berry. So I was really happy with that finish. It's just some quilting fabric, and this is that sari silk that I actually dipped in like 3 different colors so that it kind of traveled with the green and the that was actually brown, but it ended up kind of olive. So I thought it looked like fall. You can use it for Thanksgiving or for Halloween stuff. The other things I made, I know is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I'm not even sure it's my cup of tea, but I made a stab at making this these muslin kind of vintage looking Halloween pieces, and they aren't even exactly from the pattern. Here's the original pattern that I can link below from Etsy. This guy was so cute, or I think it's a girl. She's kind of wearing a dress, but I thought she was so cute, and so I made a stab at it. It has a different texture than my other muslin pieces. This is the muslin when it's painted, and I had to just seam it in the back. I didn't think it mattered, but this one had a liquid laminate put on top of it. I couldn't find that other than in huge quantities for like $60. So I used Mod Podge, and so it's a lot shinier than I usually do, but it's not my usual style either, so I thought I would give it a stab. But it has a pumpkin in the middle, so I counted it as the Great Pumpkin Sal. I wasn't initially going to do it, but when I saw it, I thought it was so fun. And I used a silk sari because when I was stuffing this cat, I was trying to loosen the neck seam just a little bit. I tore her head half off. I was like, it wasn't painted yet. It was still just muslin, but I thought, my goodness, I am not sewing this over again. It has, you know, really fine points. I worked really hard, and I was not going to do it again. So she got a nice little neck scarf to disguise her near decapitation, and she's really fun. And I copied her head, and it ended up being bigger this time, and made it into like a lollipop. And I've stuck these in a vase of my homemade sunflowers, and so they're just kind of an addition to my fall sunflowers, and they just kind of peek out. So they were fun. A little bit of trim from Lady Dot and XG Designs actually, and some silk sari. So not something I would probably make again, and not quite what I expected, but I do like the way this one turned out. I thought she was cute. I'll show you an insert of my Halloween window. I use it almost like a teacher does a bulletin board, because I sit in front of my kitchen window staring at my neighbor's brick wall of their house while I do dishes endless times during the day. So I make it like a big display that keeps me happy. So I'll insert a picture of that here. The last thing I wanted to show you is a partial finish. I found this frame that my mom had cast off. I think she was going to give it to Goodwill. It was painted completely with chalk, and I saw it and thought of a particular piece I've started as a perfect frame. And what I did was paint it kind of that brown black that I like. It's called Java. You can see it on my bookshelf here. And I waxed it. I used a different color on the inside, and it's okay, honey. There's my son. And I took a metallic, hang on just a second. Okay, sorry, got interrupted there. I don't know where I was, but I was talking about this beautiful frame that was headed for the garbage pile. When I painted it, and even before then, I had realized there's actually some wood carving in here. I don't know if you can see that detail. It was lost before, but I thought it almost looks like a Jill Renzel kind of, motif on the edge there. I don't know if that's supposed to be wheat, but it's actually carved. So this was, I think, a pretty valuable frame. At one point I went ahead and waxed it first and then kind of did a dry brush with a copper, and I'll show you what it's going to go on. I'm really excited. I actually traced around a design that's going to fit inside of here, and I hope to have that ready for you next time. I was just running out of thread, so that has been ordered already and I'll be picking up. So those were the finishes I was able to do. Not what I expected, as I said, and I'm close on a couple, but I have just been really ill. So September and October are horrible for allergies for me. Before I show you my whips, I'm going to do this a little bit out of order because I have a basket in front of me that I'm pulling out of. I wanted to announce the winner of the Riolis. I said the wrong name last time when I showed this. This is from mybobbin.com. It was provided as a gift to myself and a viewer for review, and so I wanted to share that with you, especially since it has a pumpkin and I want to get it out sooner than later. So I'm going to insert a picture of the random comment generator, and I may have missed a few of your comments. I tried to put sunflower and sunflowers, but it only took the keyword, so I'll try to think of a better keyword next time that doesn't confuse people. But sunflower was the word, and I'll insert the random comment generator here. I highlighted a little bit a tragedy in our household last night. I'm being dramatic, but if you know how much computers cost, while I was at church last night, my cats had a fight on my kitchen table and cracked the screen of my laptop that was safely closed with no liquids around. But apparently the Apple on your case of your Apple iPad is, or not iPad, but your computer is fragile, and so they have a nice crack right across my screen. I'm going to be editing this with a little bit of a hard view, but anyway, that's why we can't have nice things, right? So Patrice Dodd, congratulations on winning this. If you hear your name, and I will comment on your comment, and if you would send me an email to let me know your address, I will get this in the mail ASAP. I know it's probably too late this year to do it, but it is fun to have in your stash. So let me know your address and I will send that off. Next, I will show you my works in progress and a tiny bit of haul, not really even anything to show, but a little bit, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I got things a little out of order. I always forget to show all of my finishes. This was an embroidery piece I wanted to show you that was from Chestnut Junction, and I'm intending to make it into a pillow. It's a tea towel from Hobby Lobby that I kind of over dyed to make it a little bit more prim. It was kind of a brighter white, and so I tea dyed it first, ironed it, and then I did a embroidery design on top. I used different stitches as I was looking them up online, like the stem stitch and back stitching and satin stitch on the stem, and I kind of did that kind of cross hatch shading on one side of the sunflower. Initially I was going to do the whole thing, and I was like, no, that's too much. So I used for coloring this a crayon, and I saw that on a YouTube tutorial. I thought, how do you make, you know, just a sort of shaded color on embroidery on muslin or whatever? And they said if you use crayon and then use a piece of paper over top of it and iron it so that any of the transfer comes off, it'll be set. So I like the way that turned out. I thought it was really cute, and I like the different kind of specialty stitches that I could play with. I intend to do another pillow on this side, one more, because I have two chairs in my front room, and I thought, why didn't I think of making two? So I will make a partner to this. I just haven't traced it yet. I purchased one more from Chestnut Junction. They're only $1.99, and I have this French General fabric that is going to be the backing of it with maybe some of this orange too. So it's going to be really cute display. I hope to finish that by the end of the month. Onto my works in progress though. I was most excited about this piece by Carriage House Samplings, Kathy Barrick, an older piece called Fall's Gifts that I found on eBay, and I did have a lot of people say they had purchased it because of me, so I guess I was an enabler on that. But I used my hand-dyed, I think it's 18 count Aida, and this is where I am. I've got an outline of all but one pumpkin, and I've really started filling that one in last night. It's a cute little squirrel. I love the details on this, and I had a lot of fun kind of delving into some family history with this as I was changing the name. The original says Hattie Jane, but I wanted a relative's name on there instead of a random, you know, unknown person. So my great-grandmother, my Grandma Helen's mother, Molly, was the same number of letters, even ended in an IE, and so it was pretty easy to just draw over the design. I wonder if I can show you without compromising the pattern. When I do different charting, a lot of times what I'll do is just make a copy of the pattern and then write right on top of it. That way I know the scale is going to be correct, and I know that it's going to fit. So it's actually going to say Molly Fritzler Schoenhals, and I asked my mom to look up a little bit of information about Molly as I was trying to find out what her middle name was. Turns out she does not have a middle name, but the Fritzler was the name of, I guess, her parents. She had another married name. Her husband died in 1918, her first husband, from the Spanish flu, which I thought was interesting. I wouldn't have been here without her remarrying to my grandpa. So she had an interesting life. She was born in Argentina. I didn't realize that. I know they spent time in Argentina. My grandmother wrote cousins there her whole life. Turns out the mother of Molly, and I don't know her name, was left behind in Argentina because of a medical problem when they immigrated to America in the 1890s. So they were coming from Russia. They were Germans living in Russia, and they had, I guess, one of the children had a problem. So 3 of the children, my great aunts and uncles, great aunts and uncles, never came to America. I have a lot of cousins in Argentina. So Molly was actually born there, and then moved to Colorado, met her first husband, and then married my grandfather Schoenhals in, I think, 1918, something like that. So she was the one that always had a needle in her hand, they said. I thought it appropriate to put her on a sampler. And it's kind of a quirky sampler, but it makes me smile just to see her name. There's something funny about stitching a name. It almost had a kind of sentimental, like, overload. I just wanted to know more about her, and I didn't know that she'd had 12 children. Only 6 survived, but she had 12 children born to her, and she lost the husband, and she lived to be almost, I think, 82. So she was gone before I was born, but I really would have liked to know more about her, and it was interesting to delve into her history. So that was fun, and I hope to get probably like just a couple of pumpkins here and there, and hopefully have it finished next year. I did make a new project bag for it that was kind of those fun colors, and here's an example of my kind of oops what I'm sewing, and I'm trying to learn how to cut things very straight. I think I'm so used to kind of fudging things, and so sewing is a challenge to me. I've tried to learn to be exact and not eyeball things. Another project that I got a lot done on, and I was hoping to have, I have still got my patriotic poppies in my entryway with my 4th of July stuff, or that, 4th of July scene. And here's the flag, and here's the one that I want to go there with a pumpkin. It's Boo-baa-bie by with a needle and thread, Brenda Gervais. And it's turning out so cute. I've got all of the pumpkin and all of the sheep. All I need are the little surrounding details. So here's the fun piece with that pumpkin pie gentle arts thread. Is perfect tones, I think, for that pumpkin. And that's, is it Grecian gold on the back of the sheep. I did a trick again. I don't know if you can see when I'm using white, I like to have it look like it has a kind of fake over dyed. So I use 3865. I misspoke last time. I said 3365. 3865 and 3866, which are just a shade lighter. And I kind of do it in a swirl pattern. You can see that there to shade it. So it's kind of a cheap hack to use on things that have, you know, a lot of space on them. Like a sheep would have different shadows on him. He wouldn't be a flat color. And I did it on the grass as well. Just kind of popcorn, I think, just kind of pop around and do like a light green, a dark green. My favorite greens are 3011, 3012, and 3013, which are the DMC equivalents of Endive from Gentle Arts. I know that Blackbird uses that all the time, and Brenda Gervais does a lot as well. So if you don't have Endive, just do a combination of 3011, 3012, and 3013, which are, I think, khaki green. And so you've got light, medium, and dark khaki green, and you can make a pretty nice Endive sub if you don't have access to the Gentle Arts. So there's my progress so far, and like I said, I hope to have this framed. I will probably put it up here in my craft room for now because it's not going to make it in time for Halloween, but it is such a pretty design, and I already have some yellow felt that I can use, and I intend to do it that way like I did with the poppies. So there's that one. And then I said I wasn't, well, I said I might get a start on it, and then I said, no, you don't need to do that, and then I did. It's kind of one of those, do what you want, when you want. It's okay. I've already purchased this pattern. I had a piece of fabric that was on an amazing deal on Anita's Little Stitches, and so I really wanted to see what Ghoultide looked like. I've admired the pattern for some time. Oops, everything's falling out of my lap. And so here is Ghoultide Welcome, the corner up to the top. Here's top to bottom. It's not as big as I expected somehow. This is NPI. That's really my only haul this week, or this video. I went ahead and got, instead of doing my Victorian Motto Sampler Club, I just had such a hard time getting that. I still don't have August, and I couldn't see paying a third invoice, and so I went ahead and backed out of that club. And no hard feelings, they have beautiful products, but I decided I'm going to start buying myself NPIs each month, 3 at a time, just to make up the you know, design here. I love stitching with silk. I do feel like sometimes it makes a difference in coverage, and if I really love the model, the way it appears, I want it to really match that. So I'm going to be doing that over the next couple months, and then I'll switch to Liberty Welcome and do the same thing. Fat Quarter Shop is doing an NPI club, I know, with like 5 a month. I don't think they beat 123 Stitches price by a whole lot though, and I'd rather have NPIs that are called for in a pattern that I intend to do rather than just a random selection of colors. And so instead of the thread club idea, that's going to be my approach. And this fabric is really kind of almost tie-dyed, and I talked about over dyeing it, but I'm going to see how it goes. I can dab on a little bit of walnut stain if I feel like the whites are too much, but I think that'll actually add to the design, and it is a pretty dense stitch as far as coverage, so I don't think it'll be an issue. And I'm moving some things around. I'm going to change these pumpkins here. I wanted to take out this element, which isn't my favorite, and put the pumpkins there. And it may not say Ghoultide Welcome, it may say Harvest Welcome, because I was taking out the witch, so we'll see. I have a long ways to take those decisions. So it's a beautiful pattern though, and I really enjoy it. The last, let's see, let me say that one for last. The last things I worked on, I just picked up randomly. I don't know what I was doing, but I was very kind of hitherty, every which direction. This Heart in Hand Halloween medley is so cute. I've done 2 other medleys, so I wanted to keep the collection going, and I am somewhat using their color like story, but I'm obviously doing it on dark fabric, which is like my fake murky, and I am using Victorian Motto threads that I have and whatever gassed. I did this Halloween in a lagoon color that had some weird spots on it, and it's not very easy to read, so I might have to rip that out, but I'm doing the rest in light gray. And the ghost is going to be really cute. He's next. And the cat. So, and I have some charms to replace this already. So that's going to be fun, and it's a really quick stitch. I do think there's a good chance I can get that done. I don't know if it'll be displayed this year, but I can have it ready for next year. And then the other one, I only brought my chart up here. I don't have the cover. This is a little bit strange maybe, but I wanted this trick or treat smell my feet piece to be larger. I have a board on my mantle that I want it to fit on, and so instead of making it 2 inches high, which is how big it is on like a 14 or 16 count, I used this Tula that I had got from my friend Christine at Hollis Hands Creates, and I'm doing 3 strands over one because it's like an aida, so 3 strands. And I really think it's fun. It's not for everybody. It's like stitching on burlap almost. It's so loose, if you drop it, your needle will fall through, you know. But I'm having fun with it, and I think it looks cute. So it's kind of an over-dyed oatmeal-y color, and so I made it kind of gray brown, but I think it's going to be really cute. I also think my voice is about to go, so I better keep going here real quick. The last one that I have had the most fun with over the last 3 days, it's amazing to me how quick changing this cross stitch by Not Forgotten Farm into punch needle, and I traced the design from the chart. I had to blow it up. Lori's patterns are really small, technically, like the ones I've had. She will have just a teeny tiny square, and so when I put the outline of Reverend Gourdon Squashbottom on the window, it looked like he would be too little. So I enlarged him by 125% on my copier, and I love the way he's turning out. I got him this size specifically too for the frame that I showed you earlier. So let me kind of show you how cool this is going to look, in my opinion. I'm excited. This is going to be him on the frame. Isn't that cool? I think he looks so classy in there. So here's Reverend Gourdon Squashbottom. I've run out of thread is the only reason I stopped. I would have kept going. But he's going to have kind of a like a border. I can't show you all of it because it's kind of a outline. It's going to have like this zigzag border around there and a few other elements, but he's almost finished, and I am debating on putting the year or not. I'm also debating, and if you are a punch needle expert or have a lot of experience, please chime in. I've seen some of Lori's pieces on Not Forgotten Farm's website not be filled in completely. Punch needle traditionally almost looks like a rug where you fill in every piece of it. But I've been very careful to make my lines not smudgy so that it is a, you know, pretty obvious design. And I am really leaning toward just having the punched elements. There's, like I said, the zigzags on the corners. I may not do the numbers, especially if I do. Numbers are really hard to make look crisp until they're completely surrounded by the background on a punch needle. So I'm really leaning toward just leaving that off and having them fit in like that. But chime in below if you know, or if you have an opinion. Fill in all of the background or leave it like this. And even if you're not punch needle, you know, experienced, if you have an opinion, if you think it looks good like that, I kind of am leaning that way. So that was a really fun project that I did almost on a whim. When I found that frame, I thought, oh, that would be cool to redo for Gourdon Squashbottom. So here he is as a cross stitch. I believe he has a pattern as a rug hooking. A couple Instagram friends told me they had hooked this rug or seen it hooked. So I'm not completely off base there. I don't think it's a very simple design as far as, you know, just blocks of color. So it's not like I'm missing a ton of detail. I am going to miss some detail, but I changed the color of the cat to match my tortoiseshell cat. He's supposed to be gray and black, and I'm making him a tortie. So I just had so much fun with that project. I wanted to show you too. I've kind of been like my friend Christine was saying in her last video, that all of her pumpkin threads have just kind of been overlapping in colors. So I have this giant pom-pom of pumpkin colors, and I've been kind of connecting them together because I borrowed one from one project and one from another. And so here's all my beautiful pumpkin threads, including this MPI. I think that's the MPI that I'm using for my fall's gift. So there's that. And then the last thing I wanted to share, I think Michelle had shown this in her video, Mama Loves You GB, but I just, in case you missed it, wanted to put it out too. It's from Punkin Quilting, this beautiful freebie. She did a yellow house that I showed last time, and now she's made it into a Halloween house with jack-o'-lanterns. I think she also gave the option of no faces on those pumpkins. It's just a little bit more spooky with the kettle and the colors on the house. So I really hope to get to this one, but I think it'll probably be next year. So that's mainly what I wanted to share with you today. I'm trying to think if I've forgotten anything. I really just wanted to pop on and let you know, I'd hope to have more content to share with you, but I've been ill, and so I'm a little bit discouraged, but I have another half of the month to finish, so I'll be back, Lord willing, and show the rest of the things that I did with the pumpkin sal. It's not too late, as I said, to contribute to the fundraiser if you are still willing, and I will link that video below to show more about the great pumpkins. And of course, please stitch and share with others just to raise awareness about the Great Pumpkin Sal and the work that we're doing with Freedom Shield Foundation. As I end all of my videos, in Psalm 90 verse 17, it says, "May the favor of the Lord our God be upon us and establish the work of our hands." Have a great rest of the October. Have a great rest of October. Happy stitching.